I just have to share this. Look at these delphiniums. Dump truck going by, sorry about that. But my window box, I will post a video of this a month ago. So today is May 9th. I have absolutely no excuse for why I still have Christmas up. I did go get some flowers, and hey, I still have Halloween pumpkins up. Go me! But I've got my mushrooms in here, and I don't know if you can see it. I got a little fairy house, another little fairy house, and another mushroom that is getting hidden by all of it. But flowers are just looking great this year. I got a lot still to do, so many projects. I feel like I'm doing 3 years of projects in 1 year. And that's probably true. All right, let's get to the video. Hi, Pottery peeps. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, girl. But, you know, it seems like the last couple of weeks have been all about gnomes. I think it's because of, we always think gnomes maybe are Christmas, but they're not. They're year-round, and I really like them in my garden. I know some people don't like gnomes, but come on, look at that little face. How could you not like cute little whimsical, you know, imaginary maybe creatures, right? So I am going to show you how I did the hair. It's fairly easy, and you just need to put on your beautician hat and figure out how you want to do the hair. I have a couple of videos ago, I think it was part 1, I showed how I made these eggs. This one's actually thrown on the wheel. I can always tell because I usually leave a little, you know, teardrop doohickey thing on the top when I close the form. But I also showed you how to make them hand-built with eggs. This is actually an egg mold that I made off of a bigger mold than the ones I showed you. The one in the video is from a chocolate mold, but then I also went and bought, if you'll see behind me, I have 3 of these different sizes. I think I got them at Walmart. They were a set of 3 big eggs. And so I'm trying this one out for the first time. So we'll see what I end up with that one. And let me know in the comments if you're interested. Before this video, I might have put it in. I'll double check. Hopefully I did. I kind of gave you a little bit of what was going on with my flower boxes, and my mushrooms and my fairy houses are getting swallowed up with my flowers. I'm almost thinking we need some bigger gnomes and fairy houses and so forth in the garden. What do you think? You want to make something bigger? Let me know. All right, let's go ahead and get started on her. So this video doesn't, you know, do what most of my videos do and just get really long. So I have this, I will see if I can link it. I think I got it, pretty sure, but I think I got it, Learn Fired Arts, Michael Harbridge. This die that has the multiple coils. I use this a lot, you guys. Yeah, I use it a lot in decorative. I did a bunch of pumpkins. I will take a picture if I can find one. I did my daughter-in-law's wedding, my son's wedding. You know, the wedding's for the girl. The wedding night's for the guy. I did a fall wedding, and I did a lot of pumpkins, 30 some odd pumpkins. And I've sold most of them. I still have a few left that I've kept for myself, and she got some, and then I've sold most of the others. Anyway, I use this for making those pumpkins. So I'll see if I can find a picture and put in there. Anyway, what I'm gonna do, because we're not supposed to get super hot. super hot as in 86. So that is not hot, super hot for us. That's actually, it's not enjoyable for me. I don't like anything over 70, 75. But I am going to still work with, you know, I'm ingrained with working with plastic and keeping everything covered. But I already have a slab of clay out. But I'm going to go ahead and hopefully, until I tell you, this arm still isn't as strong as it needs to be. And I have heard that if you do it this way, like if you put this thing on the table and then press it, that it's easier. But I'm old school and habits die hard. So, and I did not wedge this well because I can't wedge. I need to get my pug mill up and running. With all my surgeries, the pug mill was full of clay. So I had them before winter hit, and that clay froze and ruined my pug mill. I made my husband and my son-in-law bring it downstairs and put it in the house. So my dirty pug mill is actually in my house. I'm gonna try this. Yeah, that is easier, but okay, we'll try it. I'm only gonna get some of these, guys. We don't need a ton of hair. So we'll do that for now. And I'll cover this up so it doesn't dry out. All right, I'm going to see about moving you closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so with her, I'm not worried about the top of her head, you know, because it's going to get covered up with a flower. But I guess what we should do first is we need to braid some hair. Now, one thing I didn't like is that her braid just seems really wimpy at the top, you know? And you know how hair is, it's always thicker and thinner at the top. So I've been trying to think how I can mitigate that. Since if I was rolling out coils, so if you're rolling out coils, you could totally do it. Actually, what if we did, let's do this. We'll just roll the top of our coil out and make it a little thicker so that the top of our braid is just got more hair, you know? Because I know, like, when I braid my hair, I get this wimpy little rat's tail at the end. But it's not too bad of a braid to begin with. All right. So, and then this, I'm just going to braid it just like you would hair. I'm hoping this is coming through. It's bright enough out here. I can't see my screen. So I'm going to try and keep, well, I guess I'm not going to try and keep my lines. I mean, hair's got lines, so, but don't nail it with your fingernail just like that. All right. We hear fire engine. We have a reservoir that's just 5 minutes from us, so it always worries me when I hear emergency vehicles. That when I was growing up in Alaska, it was mandatory to take swimming in school. And it's not here, which I don't understand. We have lakes around us. And my daughter is smart. Of course she's smart. She's got my grandkids in swimming. But it's amazing to me how many kids don't know water safety. So it always scares me when I start hearing fire engines that something might have happened down there at that reservoir. All right, so I don't need a really big braid. And you can see that my clay is already drying out. You know, hand building this summer, I'm crazy for even trying it. Okay, so we're just going to cap it off like that. And then I usually, you know, just kind of tweak it. And that's probably, well, maybe not. All right, let's do that again. Let's get a couple of long ones. And that actually worked out pretty good to roll the coil. If you're rolling your own coils, you can actually put that into your roll to where you're rolling a carrot and make that top of the hair just a little bit thicker. All right. And your girl can have as many braids. I think gnomes are, I wonder what they're Viking descent. You know, I bet you gnomes and trolls are all from the Vikings. I'll have to look that up. Okay, I'm reminding myself by talking about it that maybe I'll look it up. If I find anything useful, I'll type it in. But I would not be surprised if they are Viking. Okay, one thing I do is I kind of bring in a tool just to kind of, you know, so that it looks like the braid has been tied off. You know, with a tie. A lot of times, I think I did that on this one and covered it up with flour. So, but, you know, we're at this point here, so we're going to do that. All right, I need to cover these guys up. I need more plastic. I don't want them to get brittle on me while we are doing her hair. All right. Sorry, let's see, I think I need to raise you up, don't I? Okay. Now, this is a sumi brush. And I like the sumi brush because I actually use sumi brushes. They're actually pretty cheap too, you guys. Oh, also, I should probably tell you, I threw this out of B-Mix and I prepared B-Mix with speckle. So she's going to have two different kind of clays. Both these clays, they shrink at the same, so I'm not worried about that. But we're gonna have speckled hair, speckled nose, you know, and her body's gonna be just regular B-Mix. So now I just need to figure out, you know what, I probably should give her a nose to start so we know where her face is. And then we can figure out the rest of her. All right, is this too big of a nose? I mean, she is a girl. Plus, you know, can we just talk for a minute? The boy gnomes get a lot of attention, right? The males, always. Females, not so much. So I am thrilled that so many of you put in the comments that you wanted to see. Yeah, that works. How I did the girl gnome, because they just don't get enough attention in my book, which is par for the course, it seems. It's always all about the guys, right? All right, I am going to lower her nose. I do think on that other one, her nose was, let me bring her back. She's just a little uppity, don't you think? You know? She's the queen bee of the gnome village. All right, let's go ahead and make sure you saw how I scored that. And then I twist them on to make sure they're really on. And then we will grab a brush, maybe. I am redoing this. I should probably do a video on that because it's turning out super cool. I need to glaze it yet. So we'll see how it turns out. It might be too small, so I might be redoing it anyway. Because, you know, clay shrinks, if you weren't aware. And it always seems to shrink more than you think it's going to. All right, let's get all of those little score marks. And I will go around just because I want a really good connection. I don't want it to crack on me. And a lot of times the slip is going to crack on you. I have usually more than one brush going at a time for cleanup. I have a really small one that gets me, you know, into little spaces. All right. And then I will just clean up any other slip. Just kind of wipe her nose down. You know, her nose might be a little high too. Oh well, got a couple of we might have some couple of uppity gnomes, female gnomes. All right, I almost want to kind of push her nose in a little bit. Just kind of with a closed form, I can do that. When you're making something like this, it's just like, you know, you're sculpting basically. So like with a mug, you know, the mechanics of doing a mug, something like this, a little different. All right, so I'm going to start with the long ones. Now, this one, I did bangs, and I'm kind of thinking on this one, so if I were going to do bangs, you know, I would just chop them there. But what if we did, you know, something along the lines of this? Now, I don't, when I'm doing coils like this, I don't score them. I just get it wet and I push them in. So, let's see, on the back, kind of gave her a ponytail. So, let's go ahead and do that. I like the ponytail actually. Gave her some interest on the back. That's why, I don't usually have allergies, but something's bugging me this year. My husband and my kids suffer, but I don't usually suffer. But it seems like ever since I got COVID, my body's just not the same. So I am going to like bring that down around her nose, you know, kind of like with the hats that we do with the guys. So I need to make sure my ponytail, I'm just gonna tear it off. And I do like where I kind of give them a curl down there. So you start your first one, get it where you want it, and then you just continue to build the hair. I do push this, you know, I don't want to flatten that coil, but I do want it to attach. I actually want to curl that. There we go. Curl that a little bit more. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab another. You can see how this could take a while. And then, let's see, I don't think I actually got that quite centered. So we're going to move that over just a little bit. Add a little bit more water. Whoops. Already broke my coil. And then she's just going to have long bangs, I think. just because, you know, I don't like doing the same thing over and over. I've got to be different. So sorry if hopefully you're still seeing what I'm doing. I gotta look, sorry. I'm gonna make sure they're about the same. It's tricky business. All right, I want to make sure that, oh, you know, well, you could even do glasses. Wouldn't that be adorable to have a little gnome with glasses? You know, because you don't usually show the eyes on a gnome. That would be super cute. All right. So just gonna, I will cover this up. Whoops, we broke off right there, so we're gonna go with it. And then I will give her a little curl here. I think we're just gonna leave it like that. Okay, so the most important one are your first two, because, you know, it's setting the stage for the rest of them. So I just want to make sure they're where I want them to be. So it's acting kind of like the rim of the hat. And so now we're just going to build on what we just did. So this might, I might speed you up on this so we don't get another super long video. I just can't seem to have short videos. I tried. But then when you're doing tutorials like this, how are you going to do that, you know? So I will just bring my other one here. See why this semi brush is so nice. And then take this little guy off. And pinch those together. Nope, I need another long one. But I broke them all, so I don't have very many long ones. Sometimes I also do this where I actually dip the whole coil in water and do it that way. That might be actually a little faster. Now we're not going to cover the whole head up with these coils, but I will smooth these into the top so they're seated really well. Actually, I think getting those wet worked out better. Now I kind of want to do some, yeah, like that. Gets really slippery though when you dip them in the water. I need another long one, or longer. All right. I have plans to do another one too. Obviously, I've got one in the egg. But I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that one because it's got to be different too. Now, I will tell you, These coils are super, super fragile. So dry or slow, and let's see, we need to maybe go this way. And do not touch these coils until after it's fired, because you'll break them. All right, and have the hair go over the hair. You know, it doesn't all have to be super straight. In fact, it would be really fun to do a curly-headed gnome. My sister's got curly hair. I was always super jealous of her hair. She never had to do it. She just washed and went. And my niece has curly hair. So far, we haven't noticed any of the grandkids having curly hair. My daughter Tess, well, actually, my son has curly hair, but he keeps it so dang short. It was so cute when he was little. Actually, let's break that off. Actually, I want to. Needle tool is your friend on these guys. Just poke him, and we're going to cut that off. And push that in. There we go. He had the cutest curls. And the only problem is, if he let his hair go, he ended up more. His hair was curly enough that he ended pretty much with an afro. And he was not a fan. Okay, so now I am just going to fill her in to where she's covered for what I'm going to do. I need her head covered enough. I actually need, you know what? I don't like that right there. So we are going to give her another layer. If I have a coil, I don't like breaking it off too soon. I gotta dry my hands. I can't, it's too slippery. So you can see how they mush together. And I put that there and didn't even cover that spot. There we go. Got another one right here that I want to cover. So we're just gonna, I wasn't gonna cover her whole head, but it looks like I might. Just, let's see. Actually, we'll make it level. Anyway. Kind of push those in, and then I don't want her head in the front to be, whoops. Even though this is a closed form, I do have a hole in the bottom of it, and since I actually pushed her head in. But because she's got hair, you're not going to notice she's got a dent in her head. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. Otherwise, we will spend way too much time here. So let's go ahead and add her. Where did I put them? Oh, yeah, they're over here. Let's add. Oh, yeah. I like those bigger. And they might be too big. Now, let's see. Actually, she's wet enough. I can just push. And then let's go ahead and just going to get it wet and kind of curl that up. and fix that little crack right there, hopefully. Might need to get my glasses on. I think that's, you know, one of my, I have a lot of complaints about getting old, but not being able to see without glasses is a major complaint. Okay, I like that. So let's go ahead and make this about the same. About the same? Yeah. I'm just going to add some water there so that I can push that on. These guys aren't structural. Just tack them in there, and like I said, don't touch her after she starts getting bone dry. Just leave her alone. Don't touch her. It's a no touchy situation. Okay, I actually want to add some water in here. Tack her down. And I need to clean up. It's going to be interesting with the two different clays. We'll see. I don't think I've ever done that. Well, I have, like with red clay and B-mix, you know, marbled stuff, you know. I haven't done a gnome this way. All right, just kind of clean that up a little bit. I do think I want to maybe not that one, that's too wet. Let's see, how did I do that before? Oh, I did, I made a knot. Okay, this is crazy, you guys. But with them being Vikings, right? I need like a little knot. If I can do it this time without. And this is still pretty wet. So just to, I ended up putting a flower above the knot too. And this is super wet, you guys, so I'm just tacking it in there. Just to show that her hair was tied back, you know? Just trying to get some of my fingerprints off. Okay, woo! All right, so we got her hair. I'm gonna clean up just a touch and get myself some dried place to work. Okay, so I have a slab here and I have some extra clay. So let's put those extra clay bits before they get to. I work with my doors open, especially since I need to get that AC. I don't like the feel of AC. You know, I grew up without it, of course. In fact, you couldn't even buy a car in Alaska with AC until, well, you couldn't do it in the 80s and 90s. I mean, they just didn't sell them, because what's the point? The newer cars, of course they do. But I didn't have AC in a car until I moved down here. And I just don't like the feel of it. So even though I have an AC unit in here, I much prefer being out here early with the doors open, being outside, all of that kind of stuff. That's just who I am. All right, we're going to, I have not tried this yet. And guys, I'm so bad. There are, you know what, go down the fondant list of stuff. And these are fondant flowers. And I need a bigger flower for her. I think her flower got a little wimpy. So when you make one, you're always going to make more than one. And so this came as a kit. If I can find it, I'll post it. If not, I seriously recommend you go down the fondant aisle of cake decorating, because it's amazing what you can find with the cake decorating. I am going to cut out, let's see, probably 4, maybe 5 of these guys with the, this one makes a full flower. I haven't even used it yet, so maybe I can find it. I need cornstarch. When you start decorating these things, be prepared. It can take you a while. You can get lost in it. Where is my brush for my cornstarch? Let's see. Let's see if we can get this. These are silicone, and so they do need to be cornstarched because your clay is going to stick. So what I like about these, and there's a lot of potters out there that are using these silicone flower things, but what I really like is they look so realistic, and you can see, look at that, isn't that pretty? I am going to pinch the ends to make them look even more realistic. Well, that might be too much of a flower. We'll see. We're going to go ahead and do a bunch, and then we'll find out. There might be a lot of speeding up in this video. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting this together. Where did my, there it is. So I am actually going to score this first flower, or the petals anyway, together so I can push them down on my table. Because I want to see that hair. I do kind of like that. All right, and I do like the petals to overlap each other. So I'm gonna do this one, and then this one, and push them together really well. And then this last one, let's just make sure we're not getting too big on the flower. Oh wait, we were over here, weren't we? Guess it doesn't really matter. Just want to make sure. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to, let's see, this one's got to go in and over. So this one is on the outside. Right, and this one is on the top. So go ahead and push that down. And then tricky, we're going to have it overlap this one. This is how we're going to get, looks like a hibiscus flower, doesn't it? I'm going to go ahead, even though it won't ever be seen, I'm going to clean up my flower before I put it on. I'm actually going to move you over just a touch, make sure. I'm not sure how much you're seeing. I get into the making and not paying attention to what you guys are seeing. Because this is fun. All right, so on the outside, I'm actually going to make sure that that is very well connected, maybe even more pronounced even. On the inside, I'm not so worried about that. But I do want it to look like a flower. Because she's a flower girl. She's a flower gnome. All right, so now let's pick which way we want our little flower hat to go. Oh, cute, it hits right there. Nice. Okay, so now I will score this guy. So I'm just going to score the inside of my flower really well. I'm just using water, guys. I don't have any magic water or anything special. I put water on and I build the slip up as I score it. And I'm not really worried about, I just need a good connection here at the top, right? So we'll just scratch her head up. All right, let's see if I can, I don't remember. I think it was this way. Yeah. Okay, and so then I'll put the flower on and I'll push it on. Now we're gonna hide this too, so I'm really gonna push that into her head, not to where I'm gonna collapse her head, so watch out for that. But, let's bring that up a little bit. So technically, if you bring that flower up a little bit, you wouldn't have to do this next part. I'm actually gonna take that off though. And I do want to give movement to this flower. We want to see her little nose and see all that hair we just did. I like the petals going different directions, because they do. This is a flower. Yeah, I want to make sure. I kind of like that it has, this cookie cutter had this little split, but I am going to go back. I'm going to do it off camera, but I don't want that to split all the way up. It's okay if it does, because it is a flower. So I think, actually, I just made myself a pain in the butt to glaze though, didn't I? So, all right. So I do like on this one, the stem. So we're gonna do the stem next. Let's see, in the stem, yep, I'm gonna use the big leaf cookie cutter that's out there everywhere. I'm gonna do 3 of those. So I'm gonna just cut 3 of those real quick. And then now I'm gonna smooth them, and I'm going to pinch them because I want them soft. I want them to look like a leaf. I don't want them to look like I just cut them out of clay, right? So just spend a little bit of time smoothing your leaf. And then make sure it's not too big. Let's see, do we want it to come down? I only want 3. I did 4 of the flower petals. I like odd numbers. I was born on an odd year, on an odd day, and I'm a Gemini, so. In fact, My birthday is tomorrow, Saturday, right? Today's Friday. All right. I need to figure out, I usually, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I try to do a birthday pot. And I usually try to challenge myself. 2 years ago, I did the garden totem, which was super fun. I love that piece. It's probably my favorite piece I've ever made. And last year, of course, the guy hit me and I was in that car accident. And so I didn't do a birthday pot. Sad. So I've been trying to think, if you have any suggestions of a fun birthday pot? And if you don't do that in your practice, I highly suggest it. It's super cool. Now I'm not going to, I'm going to, let's see which one we're going. I'm going to score the back of these guys. I'm not going to score the flower because invariably I will get score marks where I don't want them. And you'll see it's not going to go anywhere by the time I'm done with this. You'll see why. Let's see. And I also have texture on that flower, so I'm not worried about it. I think you can get... Now, if you're doing functional wear, yeah, score, make sure you got grid attachments. You've seen me do that on mugs and so forth. But, I mean, this isn't functional. Okay, so I am going to squeeze these together. Push her down. I actually want to give these guys a little movement too. Okay, and so then I'm going to pull this. Let's raise you up a little bit so you can see. So I'm going to squeeze all these guys together. And I am going to pull this up into a stem. I guess they're not really leaves. They're the, what's the name of the part of the flower that connects to the, or the part of the plant that connects to the flower. That's what this is. So I'm just carefully mushing these together, moving it. I don't want to get it too wet, but now I'm to the point where I need to start pulling it. I don't like how it collapsed on me here. It kind of buckled a little bit. So we're going to spend some time pulling that up. So the calyx? Probably not. I don't remember. Wasn't so good at... I'm pretty good with flowers. I think a lot of potters are. I think they pot around in the garden. You know, I think flowers are just kind of a natural extension. Anything in the yard, anything in the dirt. It's just kind of a natural extension for potters. At least I found that. Let's see, I kind of got it flat here and I don't want it flat because I want to curl it. So I'm kind of squeezing it, trying to get it round again. And I don't want to lose that little bit right there. So I'm going to actually pull some more clay from up here. We'll get our little stem. And then, I'm afraid that's going to break off of me. So I'm going to compress it down because I think it's going to break off when I curl it. All right. Let's go ahead and get my hands where they're not so wet. All right. And then when you curl something, you want to start at the top and you want to wiggle that. You want to talk it into it. And then we're just going to slowly curl that around. And then I kind of give it a push because sometimes they want to come undone. All right. Now I do want to, oh, too much of a line. That's because I need the glasses. Let's see here. So kind of want to bring in my definition so we can see all of these. And then I'm going to wipe them out. I just wanted a little bit of a definition going up that stem, but not a ton. There we go. Now I need to address how it is connecting to my flower. Because I do want it, I don't want it to curl up on me. Oh, that could be cool though. If you had this, all these curl up. Ooh, maybe I'll have to do that on one. So I'm just kind of pushing it down carefully, making sure it's got a good connection with my flower. Even bring in a little tool and even go around them if you want to make sure they're really connected. But you don't have to. I mean, there could be. The problem is if they're not really connected, a lot of times it will manifest itself and look like a crack. You don't want that. Even though it wouldn't be a crack, it'll look like one. So we will just plus these green things on the back of a flower, they're really connected to the flower, usually. So we will just make sure that they're connected. And then now I think we either need to add a butterfly or a ladybug. And then I think I'm going to call it. Otherwise, I mean, you can see where you could just go nuts on these because they're so much fun. Actually, let's do this smaller brush. There we go. That's better. And like I said, dry these really, really slow. Put them somewhere no one's going to touch them. And sometimes I will put them under plastic. And then the next day, I'll look at them. And it's like, I wonder if we need a little something, something else. Sometimes you're just not done, even though you know you should be done because you put too much time into it. I took out that petal, so I'm putting that back in. I'm going to, sometimes sponge is always the best. Let's see if we can get them into those little areas. Well, hello. Hey. All right, so maybe I want a little bit more of her. Yeah, you can fiddle, man. Boy, can I fiddle. Let's see. Do we want a butterfly? Sometimes it's like, I don't know what I want, you know? Oh, I think I will put some flowers down here, but I'm gonna do it off camera. So I'll probably put flowers like that on her braids. I'll do something, but I know what's gonna happen, and I might add a butterfly. What time is it? Oh my goodness, it's already noon. How'd that happen? I've been out here too long doing this. Okay, we're gonna, sorry, I had guests. I'm going to go ahead and add, she needs a butterfly. The guys can have the ladybugs, I guess. I don't know. I guess there's no rules, but let's go ahead and, so I have this little thing. This I can put the link in. I really need to do a store, you guys. I just need to find the time to do it. I'm trying to do all these projects because, you know, with the knee surgeries, car accident, shoulder surgery, it's been hell on my projects. That, I mean, I'm still trying to get my studio finished. Still trying to get set up. Anyway, so I will put this in here and press it just like I did those flowers. And then I get a beautiful butterfly on both ends. Now, when I have these guys, I tend to take a needle tool, kind of push, if you're seeing a theme here, I kind of thin out my edges so it looks more delicate than it is. And then I usually take a needle tool, I kind of press in, okay, like that. So now I have this that I can, it usually cracks it, especially when I'm working with the speckled. So I'm just going to go ahead and score that. Let's see, where are we going to put the butterfly? Right. We had it on the stem. Oh, I like it on the stem. Okay, so, and then, here, let's take that off. And we will score the butterfly, because guess what? The butterfly is super, super fragile. These guys are just fragile, just so you know. All right. And then, well, you could do it with this too. And then I'm just going to push in the body of that butterfly. And then I usually take the wings and kind of curl them around. So butterfly has just landed. Again, movement. It seemed to be on a thing, huh? Can't see what I'm doing. All right, so I want to make sure I've got a good connection all the way down. And then I will come back here, clean up any slip on the back side of him. And then I usually just kind of, if I made any tool marks, and then there we go. Fun, huh? She's cute. I need to, all right. I will put this in the description. All the tools that I used, if I can find them, I will put them in the description, okay? So she's gonna need some flowers. these are going to be super fragile because they're just got one little connection. And then I will score that and press the flower in her hair. Let's do one more because I just can't stop. I have a problem over decorating. I am a maximalist girl. The key to being a maximalist is not to get into that realm of tacky. And I am dangerously close. Whoops, split that one. So we'll do another real quick. These little silicone fondant tools really have upgraded my gnomes, fairy houses, you name it. And they're quick. All right, so don't push too hard this time, because I already split this side, but that's okay. We'll fix that. Okay. Now, all right, I gotta call it, guys. I've been filming for 1 hour and 8 minutes. So I'm gonna try and condense it. Looks like I got clay on my face. That's okay. On this one, I did paint a dress. I used the underglaze transfers and kind of gave her some overalls. And I think I'm gonna do the same with her. This is a sand bow underglaze transfer. It's one of my favorites. And then it is the Clayscapes Briar Rose that I just painted. It's a dippable glaze, but I use it for all my gnome noses. And sorry, I made the camera move by hitting the table. I use it for all my pink noses, and then I painted her pink dress. And then I went around it with the designer liner to just kind of show overalls. So I'll probably do the same thing. Her hair was done with Coyote Red Gold, which I think turned out amazing. I got a lot of depth in there. I did the Himalayan Blue Poppy from Clayscapes. The yellow was the Buttercup on the flowers from Clayscapes. And then it was the Mulberry and Wasabi Amico Celadons for the flower. And the butterfly, I did a mix of the Himalayan Blue Poppy and Obsidian. And it just kind of, I'll do better on this one. It just didn't give me enough definition. I guess it's okay, but I was kind of looking more for a gradient, but didn't quite do that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. I think she's awfully cute. And I like the bigger flower though, I really do. And then I see her ponytail down here. So you could do so many things, but I think she turned out cute. All right, so we will see you in the next one. Oh, let me know, since we're kind of on a gnome thing, if you want the mushroom gnomes. They're pretty simple, but they're fun too. And I have ideas too. These are the first 2 that I made, and I actually threw these on the wheel. But you know, with me, I don't like doing the same thing twice, and I might have to shake it up. So yeah, let me know, and you guys have a great weekend. Well, I guess this will be posted Sunday. So hopefully you had a great weekend and you can go get muddy. We'll see you in the next one. Okay, update. Got a little carried away. So I added some flowers on her flower because why not? It's a hat. And then I added some flowers in her hair because why not? You know, just to make it more difficult for me to glaze. Anyway, cute. All right,